So some tips, a couple of things here. We do provide a very detailed guideline / outline for the project grant application. And we have also on the website included a template. So it's step by step, and we're always here if you have any questions for that. So top tip is just to read that really carefully, follow those guidelines. The second one, once you're inside the grant, sticking to the timeline. So having someone in there that's really great at project managing or is allocated to keeping track of where you're going, and also what needs to be done for reporting for NAFEA as well. I know that in the second grant that I was involved in, there was someone that was really good at that. I wasn't the best at that, and they were great. So, having multiple people there can be very handy. Meeting with a degree of regularity. So, of course, this is going to be part of that discussion you have with your next in line or your manager, that you're talking about the time commitment that's going to be involved in the project, and then work that out with your team as well. Reaching out for support, so not just from us, from your team members too, and from anyone that you trust and would take their advice about projects. Being in an institution that is based around research is quite handy if you haven't done it before, but we're always here for conversations about the project grant and the process. So there's that email that I was talking about at the start, admin@nafea.org.au, and we opened the applications on the 5th of July. So you've got a couple of days to have a think about it, and then some time until you get to present your application, because the closing date isn't till a couple of weeks after. So here's some logistical details to finish off, just about the ways in which we touch base with you throughout the project grant. So we'll have a check-in with, so whoever's, I'm the research and project manager. Yeah, that would be me. So I'd be checking in with you within 6 months of the fund allocations. So just to give a bit of a halfway check-in, seeing how everything's going. At that time, sometimes we have a bit of a chat around, whether you'd like to share where you're at with the members. And sometimes we have a midpoint webinar, and it's really great to do for your team as a reflective practice as well. Then you submit a project report. I believe it's around no more than 500 words. It's quite short, sharp, and succinct, just about where your project ended up. And of course, this is often something that you see in grant applications, that the organisation will require evidence of how you've gone. Also, this dissemination of sharing of outcomes. So if you have resources and tools that can be disseminated, we will house those on the NAFEA website. And we do have a copyright guide in the application, so you can look at that and chat to your team members about that too. Of course, if you and when you head to either conference presentations or webinars or even publications, to ensure that NAFEA is acknowledged in any of those as being the distributor of the grant. So I alluded to a couple of optional opportunities just before around those webinars, and you always have an opportunity as a member of NAFEA to present at our annual conference, and we do encourage our project grant recipients to present. Sometimes it's a workshop, sometimes it's a spotlight, or sometimes it might be a paper presentation. Also, we have those, as I mentioned, those webinars that reflect about your research and your findings. So that's also an option for you. We've had many a spotlight in our newsletters for NAFEA, and in that 6 months check-in, if you would like to do a spotlight in the newsletter, we'll talk about that. And usually I have about a 30-minute chat with you, do a bit of a write-up and have that into the newsletter. And that's lovely to have on a CV or to show the evidence to the faculty that you've been disseminating the work from your institution as well, broadly. And of course, we've got our NAFEA Open Access Journal, which we will let you know when the launch date will be for that. So just some timelines there for everybody. So opening date for the project grant is the 5th of July, and then we close about 4 weeks later. So we've got plenty of time for you to put together that application. You email those applications to admin@nafea.org.au. Apologise, don't have that AU there, but definitely include that, please. And we will have a notification about the outcome within 2 weeks of that closing date. Okay, so any questions at all? We'll have these slides as well available up on the website.
Definitely the project grant program is intended to encourage those who wouldn't normally get involved in a project. That's one of the aims of the project. And that's why it is supposed to be a small project. So it's those who might be, emergent researchers or early professional staff who have got a particular problem or issue that they want to explore or develop some kind of resources. One of the things we really want to see out of the project is the ability for anything that you that you design or develop is applicable across multiple disciplines, across multiple jurisdictions, and that NAFEA members in general can benefit from the project. It's not about just benefiting a single university or a single discipline. We want to see the how it can be applied across the industry and to gain some of those benefits for members. And it's a great way to have a supported project. So we're here to support those people who are successful in getting a grant to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. So it's also a professional development opportunity for people. We're quite happy to work with the project teams to work through the project and get the outcomes that we need. And as Ondine mentioned before, and NAFEA has been in the process of setting up a new journal dedicated to work integrated learning, which is called Will in Practice. And just hot off the press, Ondine has been appointed as the editor-in-chief for the Will in Practice journal. So congratulations, Ondine, on that appointment.
Thank you. And we're all the first to hear it. So
literally happened yesterday.
It definitely was. Yes, it is hot off the press. Yes. And Ricky is the managing editor as well. So congratulations, Ricky.
Thanks, Ondine.
We're very excited, very excited. I just wanted to also add, Ricky, the project grant was my first step into research, formal research around a project, and NAFEA was my first conference that I'd ever presented at. And it's just such a supportive environment to be in this organisation, and I felt like it was a family. And I think that that's such an important element to this project grant, is that you do get a lot of support. It's not like we throw the money out and then you don't hear from us again for 12 months. Those integral conversations that you have with me, they can be reflective conversations too, and questions come up. We troubleshoot things together. If you need extensions of time, if you need something logistically, we can always help out with things like that too. So it's not just a one shot, here's that, show us the evidence, see you later. It is very supportive.
It really is a program that is building capacity within members, as well as having some outcomes that members can hopefully use within their everyday context. So for the people online, are there any particular projects that or areas that you're thinking about that might be of interest for you to pursue as part of this program?
For us at UC, I was quite inspired by the rural and remote will presentation that was a few weeks ago. And so we've just been throwing around some ideas in our office of maybe, I don't know, having a project that will look at either increasing our rural and remote will placements or some kind of student support kind of system. Yeah, we're quite inspired by that presentation. So I just wanted to log in today to see what's available through NAFEA refunding. And yeah, it's really, your program seems really good. And
well that sounds really aligned with
I noticed that was one of the lists on the project page.
It's one of our priority areas. I mean, obviously we've got the student scholarship to encourage rural and remote placements as well. So having projects that align with that priority as well.
Definitely. Yep.
So we're still in sort of early talk about it, and we're applying for some funding from somewhere else as well. So yeah, but we'll most likely, I don't know, might put in a proposal. I'll talk to my team later.
Very good.
So Sue, I've just popped into the chat there the link to the project grant page. So
yes, I was having a look at that yesterday. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So all of the resources are there, and then you can have a bit of a look on the different projects that have been provided with the grant in the past as well.
Yeah.
And we're just working on having access to the different resources as well through the website and enabling people to have accessibility to and using those.
I think that's a really good aspect, that you're making something that's shareable for lots of different unis to use.
So one of the conditions of the grant is generally that a Creative Commons license is applied to any of the resources that get developed. So that means that it's like an open source. It can be utilized by everyone.
Right.
The aim is not for people to do their research and to keep that to themselves. It's about disseminating and doing good for the world community in general.
Definitely.
Okay.
So if you do have any questions, if you're thinking about the project and you come up with any other questions that you might have around the application process or just the program in general, feel free to get in contact with us.
Sure.
As Ondine said on her slides, admin@nafea.org.au is the email address, and there's information on our website as well. So nafea.org.au with all the information, plus, as Ondine mentioned, the previous grants and a little bit of information around what was involved in with those, as well as the guidelines and the application form and all that type of information.
That's great. Thanks, Ricky. Thanks, Ondine.
No worries.
Thanks for your time today.
Look forward to seeing your application, hopefully.
Thanks, Sue, for your time today.
No worries. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.